All right, I'm ready.
Good evening, Brent, and good evening, FOTA members in Region 5. Today we have the honor and pleasure of meeting with Brent, who is the president of FOTA, and I'm going to allow him to introduce himself.
Hey, everybody, I'm Brent from FOTA, the president. I look forward to going over some questions about FOTA and presidency and encourage, of course, everyone to be FOTA members. Either join or sustain your membership.
Wonderful. So, Brent, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to have this interview with me. So,
Sure.
the first question is, what is the overall vision of FOT? What is the overall vision of FOTA to
Right.
support its members?
Well, I can tell you that we have it really well documented in what we call our strategic plan, and that's available on our website. And so we have sort of official language. I'll actually read it. The vision for FOTA will be the respected authority on occupational therapy's contribution to health and well-being in Florida. And then we have a mission statement which says that FOTA members support and develop the best practice of occupational therapy to advance the profession and better serve our consumers. And so that's our vision and mission. And as president, I can say that some of the underlying vision that we have is also to build a community of practitioners, involve more people in our association so that we can advocate better. And what we really are focusing on right now is building membership, because through that we can be more effective.
Great. And you know what? I think from this moment on, I'll just say FOTA because that's
That's
so
good.
much easier.
FOTA, we go with FOTA all the time. Yeah,
That's so much easier to say.
good.
Um, so there's an interesting fact that I found out recently. So I'll ask you this question: What is FODA's role regarding approval of CEU providers?
Well, we have it's kind of twofold. We have what we call sanctioning program, which is if you go to our website and look under the education tab, you'll see something called CE sanctioning. And what that is anyone who wants to provide a course can apply and and pay a small fee, and then they can use FOTA to basically approve the course and post the CUs to CE brokers. So um, for us, it's a win-win because you get to present your course and publicize it to our members, and we collect a fee for processing who attended, what their license numbers were, and post that to the CE broker for credit. So that's one way that we do it. We also have
Awesome.
our annual conference, which is an educational uh, venue where people can come and present and get CEUs that way too. So that's sort of our twofold manner of supporting education.
Great. Now let's see here. I want to ask you: Do you have any fun facts about FOTA?
Uh, well, the fun facts are kind of. I'm going to give you a quiz. It's not a long quiz. I just want you to think
Uh-oh.
about what region in FOTA has the most OT practitioner members. Which one do you think? You can just say an area. You don't have to say a specific region.
Wow. Well, you know what? Since I'm in Region 5, I'll just go ahead and say Region 5.
Region 5, you're very close. You're actually fourth. The number one region for membership in FOTA is dun 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 Region 7, which is the Miami Fort Lauderdale area. So more population, more practitioners, more membership, and actually more licensed OTs in general.
Oh, really? I
And
had no clue.
and of course, any more metropolitan area has more practitioners and more FOTA members. Which would you guess is um, the least membership in FOTA? And we're
Let's
holding out for
see.
them to get more members?
Could it be Region 5?
It's not Region 5. Region 5 is doing good. Ooh, I got to move mouse or I won't be moving. It's actually the region number 1, which is in the very northwest, up by the west end of the Panhandle. And it's because there's not a lot of population up there, not a lot of facilities, not a lot of licensed practitioners. But we hope to have more activity up in that direction. And we love the people that are there and our FOTA members.
Well, wonderful.
So I guess that's fun. I found it fun, but I'm a kind of a FOTA geek, so.
Well, we can all grow and learn together.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is the role of the lobbyists?
The lobbyists.
In relation to FOTA?
Our lobbying firm is Corcoran & Johnson, governmental relations firm out of Lutz, Florida, with offices in Tallahassee. And their main role is to provide connections for FOTA with legislators so that we may present our concerns on issues affecting OT practice in the state, the laws that affect our practice, and any issues that may arise of that nature. They also advise us on what legislation is coming that would impact us. So whether it be something that's changing in the, for instance, telehealth is a big one that's going on right now, the opioid crisis, changes that happen in Medicaid funding, things of that nature. Any bills that are coming down that would affect our ability to practice and serve our clients, or perhaps impede the access of our clients to our services. We look out for our consumers of OT, not just for our practitioners. So their role is really to be able to introduce us to people that we can talk to, and to analyze what legislation is coming and advise us on what to look out for and how to take a position and persuade people to vote in a way that supports OT. What's one thing to raise a question and say it's a problem, but in Tallahassee, our lobbyists are helping us learn to be persuasive by providing information about why the benefit of OT, why it is serving society so well, and why it should still be funded and supported and protected. So that's their role. Very of our expenditures in FOTA, it's the biggest expenditure, but it's one of the supports the biggest purpose of FOTA, and that's to advocate. And it's been great to work with them. We had a Hill Day in January on the 10th, and we got to meet with 15 different legislators, some senators, some in the House, all of which are on the vital committees for healthcare legislation. And so we got to talk to them. And we had students from FAMU and students from Kaiser University come up, and well, they didn't have to come because they're already there. They're in the neighborhood. But the legislators really liked seeing the OT students, because it's kind of like the future. I'm sure for them it's the future voters, but also future practitioners. So it's good, and it's well worth it to have our lobbyists with us. And that's where most of your money, not most, but a great amount of the money for membership is to support lobbying efforts.
You know, that's actually great information, but I think sometimes in the day-to-day work, you know, in family, I guess people such as myself, we often don't think about who's working in the background to assure that, you know, we can still thrive as a profession.
Right, and we have a specific committee in FOTA led by co-chairs called the Governmental Affairs Committee. Kelly Unino and Sharon Rosenberg are our Governmental Affairs coordinators, co-chairs, and they're actually OTs from Tallahassee. And they were able to advocate last session for OT to be added into the Florida State Employees Health Plan. it was being what would happen was they were not being covered for OT services. People that are state employees were not covered, and so that needed to be facilitated. I need to move my mouse. And so our lobbying firm and our co-chairs worked diligently to include OT for state employees, and that was a big victory for us.
Wow, that's wonderful. So I guess you covered that question as well.
Trying to get 2 for 1 on those questions.
I think you answered like 3 questions.
Oh, good. And I went on and on. Sorry.
So the next question is, how is FODA affiliated or supported by AOTA?
Oh, we have basically mutual support. We're not financially tied in any way. But we do have, AOTA has advisors for state policy, and they're really great about advising the various states on how to look out for certain legislation that may be problematic, or how to, once again, approach lobbying. But they also give some ideas for structure on how to build membership, how to promote participation in the association. So it's a mutual benefit to be associated, but we're not tied organizationally to them.
Now, just a little bit about yourself. What made you decide to become the president of FODA?
Oh, well, they had a great nomination committee, which was very persuasive and came up and was encouraging me. And a lot of FODA involvement is based on other people coming, encouraging you to participate and being positive. And so I knew there were positive people that I wanted to be associated with. I had a history of being a volunteer in FODA as a newsletter editor and webmaster, or took care of some of the technological features of FODA for many years. And then I stepped away from the board as a volunteer because I went back to get my post-professional doctorate in OT. So I went for my OTD, and so I wasn't involved for a couple of years in FODA. And then in coming back, I decided I want to get involved again. And so they said, well, we want you to be the president. So this was something the nomination committee came up with. And I guess it was a nice fit because as being the webmaster and newsletter editor, you know a lot about who's involved with FODA and what kinds of activities take place and what kinds of transactions happen with the public, with members concerns, issues of that nature. And so it was a nice fit. I approached the presidency in a very